Hello, leader. You've just tuned into another episode in our series that are all about hiring. This series is designed to bust through the fluff that you'll hear or see online from corporations who have tons of money to throw at recruitment firms to find their newest team members. But come on, you don't have endless capital for signing bonuses, an HR department, or training department stuffed with people to lead these efforts in your small business. Today, it's all about facing 3 brutal facts about what it takes to make building your team easier, less costly, and with repeatable practices that will undoubtedly become the strong foundation you stand on for years to come. Too many of you are losing your minds because of crushing team turnover, underperforming people, and individuals making unrealistic demands about pay while they stir up drama amongst their peers. Let's get you some relief, albeit some of what you hear today might be a little uncomfortable. Oh, and be sure to take notice of the listener event we're hosting in a few weeks. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. If you are a woman who owns a small business and you'd like to learn how to lead your team so they don't need you to hold their hand, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've led winning teams in retail, innovative technical teams at a Fortune 50 corporation, and coached many remote teams to win at work. And in case you're wondering, no one escapes team troubles, including me. You already know that the people side of running your business can be tough. I'm here to help. So let's jump into today's episode with a little reminder that the team that got you here may not be the team that will get you there. Before we crack open the conversation with some hard truths about hiring and firing, I want to invite you to a special listener event that we're hosting. It's your chance to tell me what you want from this show. As a podcast listener, you might already know that the number of new podcasts launched annually was increasing, but the explosive growth that led to surpassing 1 million total podcasts happened primarily during the pandemic years. Everyone saw the dramatic rise in content creation as more people turned to podcasts for communication, education, and of course, entertainment. I remember this time well. I'd open up my podcast app and there was a constant stream of new and you might like these shows being served up to me. There was so much to check out. I know I did, and you may have found Stacking Your Team during the same time, and I'm so glad you did. Now, we came through the pandemic, so where are we now with podcasts? Well, as of 2023, the number of podcasts launched surpassed 3 million worldwide, but less than 50% are still active only a year later. Now, in podcasting, there's a real phenomenon called pod fade. Now, this is where there's a noticeable decline in episodes or an abrupt end to the show altogether. It's been reported that 90% of podcasts don't get past 3 episodes. I'm thrilled to be inching towards 400. So why the fade or the abrupt ending or those extensive breaks? Well, it's because podcasting takes time, money, and creativity. But most of all, it takes an ongoing deep understanding of who is listening, which is why you're invited to join me and your fellow podcast listeners to tell me what you'd like me to create for you. You'll have 2 choices. Pick your best time to gather on a Zoom call, meet some fellow listeners, and then tell me, what do you want me to create for you here on the podcast? I mean, if you consider yourself a lifelong learner who's more than a casual fan of podcasts and someone who takes advantage of free podcasts to accelerate their success, I want to hear what you have to say. So grab your spot over at the website, stackingyourteam.com/earbuds. I can't wait to meet you. That's stackingyourteam.com/earbuds. See you there. All right. Are you ready to hear some hard truths about hiring and firing people in your business? It's tough because the people side of running your business is often the hardest. It's the foundation of how you will grow, both in terms of revenue, your impact, and personally as a leader. Finding great people and keeping them requires some thought. You need a people strategy, just like you need a services and product strategy, a social media strategy, or a pricing strategy. Your people strategy needs to have a significant place in your annual strategic plan. That's the first hard fact about hiring and firing that I've got for you today. You've got to plan for both. Now, too many small business owners are emotionally reacting to a sudden need to hire or fire someone, and it usually goes sideways because there's no plan, no follow-through, and a lot of brisk actions taken under duress. It leads to very unintended outcomes, like lots of rework, damaged relationships, and sometimes damaged reputations. But it doesn't have to be like this. Having a leadership team that can take ownership for shifts in your team structure, such as succession planning for people going off on maternity leave, coverage for your peak sales periods, some promotions you might want to do, launching new products or services, staffing for a second location maybe. Maybe you have an internship program. And then, of course, we will always have resignations and terminations, or there will be time where you'll need to redeploy some of the work. This can all feel less strenuous when you have a plan. Taking time to anticipate various scenarios, getting aligned as to what your best new structure would look like, and then mapping out what your next steps and any ripple effects will undoubtedly feel so much more like you're in control of your business rather than feeling sideswiped by the unexpected. And you know that great leaders plan for the unplanned. Okay, the second hard fact about hiring and firing is that you need to wrap your head around the fact that the team that got you here may not be the team that will get you there. Now, I've been saying that in the opening of this podcast for over 6 years because I believe you need to be constantly reminded of it, especially those of you who are on track to continue to grow. Now, I get it. Everything in small business is personal. So for some of you, even thinking about firing someone who's been with you since you opened your doors feels impossible. And some of you may be telling yourself a story that it would just be wrong. So are you going to continue to pay people well for not being able to meet the ever-changing needs of your business? Are you going to continue to hire additional people to level out the performance gaps of your current team members out of loyalty? And are you going to continue to misrepresent your appreciation for underperforming people just to be nice? Sounds ridiculous, right? Yet it's very common for women who own a business to tolerate these situations for years. And I mean years. But why don't men who own a business think and feel this way? Does it all stem from the playground when we were taught that sharing is caring? And the ultimate compliment to get from someone is that she's so nice. Many of you are struggling with this right now. You've got someone on your team who you are paying well. You appreciate their commitment to you in the business, and there was a time that they added a ton of value every day. Now, at the same time, you've got people on your team who are fed up with this person because they can't keep up with the pace. They struggle to master new tech or systems. They push back hard on anything that looks like they're going to have to do it differently. And people are covering for them over and over again, fixing their mistakes, taking on projects that are beyond their capabilities, and becoming more and more frustrated that you seem to not notice what's really going on. But it doesn't have to be like this. Having a leadership team that can take ownership for developing others because the people closest to the work know the most about the work can free up a lot of your time. You'll also be developing leaders who will learn how to host coaching conversations that lead to great outcomes. They'll demonstrate to everyone how confrontation can truly shift the team in the right direction. And they'll make people decisions based on data, not emotions, putting an end to drama and broken team dynamics. The third hard fact about hiring and firing that I'll be sharing with you today is that you've got to start making tough decisions about who you hire, who you fire, who you promote, and who you demote. Now, I get it. Sometimes overwhelm can lead you to make a decision that seemed easier in the moment. You may have even felt a bit of relief by it. Maybe you promoted someone into a role that deep down you knew it would be a stretch for them, but they wanted it and you didn't think you had anyone else to choose from. Or maybe you knew that you really should post for the role externally, but you had someone who declared they wanted it and you didn't know how to tell them that they weren't a good fit. So your fear of disappointing a person and possibly creating some team drama outweighed the long-term success for your business. Now, I also get it that sometimes it feels easier to delay the big decision because you're secretly hoping things will change. Maybe you won't actually have to find a replacement for that person if they step up and suddenly start knocking your socks off. Or you're hoping your prayers will be answered and that person will self-select out on their own and you won't even have to fire them. Honestly, I hear you, I see you, and I get it. And some of you may be afraid to hire a new person who might outshine a team member who believes they have the highest level of mastery and influence in your business. So you worry about creating a level of competition amongst them that would be uncomfortable for everyone to deal with. So you don't post for the role at all, and you continue to tolerate performance gaps and become more and more frustrated with this person as each day passes. Or you post the role all right, but you don't choose your best candidate. Instead, you choose your second or third choice to join the team. Again, it's that fear of disappointing a team member who's disappointing you. Sounds unreasonable, right? I also know that some of you may be afraid to fire someone because the person knows too much about the business and they've been with you for a very long time and your clients have become accustomed to them being part of the team. You may also be afraid that this person would jump online and launch a devastating smear campaign towards you and your brand. And most definitely, you could be afraid to actually fire them. Just thinking about having that meeting to tell them gives you the sweats. But it doesn't have to be like this. When you have the right level of confidence and support surrounding you for these big, tough decisions, it doesn't feel so scary. You've likely been tackling these growth dilemmas on your own and don't feel like you have a safe place to talk about it, or map anything out, or validate what your next best steps would be. That's why collaboration is so important when you own a business. Having trusted people inside your business that form your small but mighty leadership team will be your key to making sound decisions and feeling like you have others around you that have your back. They can speak on your behalf. And having trusted people outside of your business who will act as your mini board of directors to ensure your success will be undeniably important, not only in your business, but as a woman who leads a work team and a home team and cares for her community too. And one last brutally honest truth about hiring and firing that I'll share with you today is that it's okay to do a little happy dance when you find your latest new hire. And it's also okay to do a little happy dance when you fire someone who's been incredibly taxing on you and your team. And sure, you're not going to do that happy dance online or during a morning team huddle, but I often reinforce the need to acknowledge the firing and all the effort that went into it with the member of your leadership team who was a key player in the coaching, directing, and accountability for this exiting team member. You know, I'm usually the first one to celebrate a client who has taken action to fire someone because I think it's important to acknowledge her for making the big decision and then following through with it. She deserves to be seen and heard and recognized for pouring into this person, sometimes over and over again. And if that person cannot turn the performance around, I'm here to encourage her to bless and release them, Send them out into the world of work where they can take their next best career move. The people side of running a business is often the most difficult part, and it's uncomfortable to talk about or even find the right people to talk about it with. I'm here for you. If you're a woman who owns a business, isn't it time to stop doing all the heavy lifting and instead start sharing the load with a few key people and then see your business thrive? If you have a team of 5 or more, I can show you how to go further faster as you find and keep and onboard your best candidates, promote your top talent into leadership roles that will free you up, and keep the people you want, release the ones you don't. Together, let's build a team of highly capable and trusted people. Join the Leadership Lab or work with me one-on-one, and I will share my experience with you so that you can say what all my clients have told me. Shelli, I wish I found you sooner. Apply today directly from the website or the link that's in the show notes. And hey, don't forget to grab your spot for our listener event. Head on over to stackingyourteam.com/earbuds. You know, leadership can be exciting, challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.